First hour Algebra 2. Our first video is going to be a review of solving exponential equations. This will be a short video, won't take as long for the first one. Alright, remember our underlying concept here is with exponentials, an exponential equation, remember that is when the variable is up in the exponent. Our rule for this is if our bases are the same, then all we have to do is simply drop our exponents and create an equation. Sometimes it's really quick like this one, x equals 6. But that's our only rule. If the bases are the same, we drop our exponents to create a new equation, an old equation that we should be able to do. So here we get 5x minus 2 equals 3x minus 14. And we can pick on a little guy, we'll subtract 3x. 2x minus 2 equals negative 14. Add 2. We end up with 2x equals negative 12. Divided by 2, we get x equals negative 6. Remember that you can pause the video if you need to copy the problem down. If you haven't copied it ahead of time, you can pause the video also, work the problem, and then play the video to see if you got it correct. Okay? So if our bases are the same, our our exponents have to be the same. All right? So some examples here. You'll be responsible for having these examples. Again, all we're looking for is the same base. Here we are, base 5. 5 to the power of x minus 1 equals 5 to the 14th. All we have to simply do, don't make this any harder than what it needs to be, is drop your exponents, make them equal. We get x equals 15. Okay. So the next question that we should be thinking about is, well, what if they're not the same? Well, the answer to that is make them the same. We've got to make our bases be equal. So what's the way we do that? We change our 25 to 5 squared. Okay. Then you got to remember your old exponent rules, that whenever you have a power raised to a power, what do you do with those two exponents? You multiply them. So over here we will have to multiply these two, and we have to distribute that when we do that. So we will get 2x plus 16 over here on the right equals 4x. And again, we have made both of our bases 5, so we're allowed to drop our exponents. Again, that produces an equation, like an old first semester equation. We can pick on a little guy and solve this real quick. 2x equals 16, x equals 8. Okay. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes we got to think a little bit about how we're going to get these bases the same. We need these two to be the same number. So in this case, we're going to have to change both. Think about this a little bit. So what's another way to get 4? Well, we could square 2. What's another way to get 8? Well, we could cube 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And now we have done what we needed to do. We made our bases the same, so we can simply drop our exponents. And we would multiply those two, get 6x. We would distribute over here, and we would get 3x plus 15. And then solve from there. Subtract 3x. Get 3x equals 15, divided by 3, we get an answer of x equals 5. Okay, so sometimes you have to change one, sometimes you don't have to change any, sometimes you have to change both. So you may have to think a little bit about how are we going to change this, how are we going to make an 81 into a 27. We'll start with the smaller one and think, what's another way to get 27? 3 times 3 times 3, okay, 3 cubed. So we'll change 27 into 3 cubed. Does that work? Well, we can change 81. Can we change it into a 3? Well, 81 is 9 times 9, and each of those 9s is a 3 times a 3. So 81 is 3 to the 4th. And we have done what we needed to do. We got both of these to be 3s. So now that means our exponents, distribute here, we get 4x minus 8. Our exponents are equal. We will distribute here 6x minus 30. And now just solve like you normally would. Subtract 4x, we get 2x. add our 30. What is negative 8 plus 30? 22. Divide by 2, we get x equals 11. Okay. Why don't you pause this one if you haven't done that already, just to make sure you can do it. Pause this one, work it, and can come back. Well, what are we going to do with 100 and 1,000? Well, again, start with the smaller one. What can I do with 100? Well, 2 times 50 is 100. That's not the way we want to think about it. Another way to get 100 is 10 times 10. Same number. So that means we can write 100 as 10 squared to the power of 5x. Can we do that same thing with 1,000? Now remember, it's 10 squared because there's 2 zeros. What would 1,000 be? 10 to the third power. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So it'll be 10 to the third power raised to the power of x plus 6. Again, we've done what we needed to do. We have both of these bases equal to 10. So now we can simply take our exponents. This one would be a 10x after we multiply it. This would be a 3x plus 18. Please don't get in a hurry. Make sure that you distribute and do that 3 times that 6 and get that 18. And then we just solve that. Subtract my 3x, pick on little guy. I get 7x equals 18. Always divide by what's in front of the variable. So I get 18 over x. And you can just leave your answer like that. Don't make it a decimal. Don't have to make it an improper fraction. Okay. So that's going to conclude the first video. I'll keep them short like this the best I can. Make sure you do your homework. And I will post those answers tomorrow. Also, make sure you have done this or taken these notes. You will be turning both of those in, notes and homework, when we get back. Okay? Have a good day.